Hi boys and girls, it's time for our daily read aloud today. Mrs. Williams brought candlelight today. We're going to have our read aloud by candlelight. Not really, but we're pretending. Okay, we're going to start with chapter 28 and we are on the shop. It was a small, sleepy farm town. A few trucks glided down the streets. A few humans sat on porches. A few stores lined the main square. Rambler parked in front of a bright white building. Then Mr. Sharif left the children with Roz and he limped inside. "Welcome to the Tech Lab shop," said a woman in a white suit. "My name's Nadine. How can I help you?" Mr. Sharif was distracted by all the robots on display in the shop. They came in a dazzling variety of designs and sizes and colors. Standing still, eyes glowing, they calmly waited for someone to put them to work. When the man spotted a Razum unit, he suddenly remembered why he was there. "I'm the owner of Hilltop Farm," he said, "and we were just hit by a tornado." "I heard the siren," said Nadine. "Is everyone okay?" "My family's okay, but I've got a Razum unit outside who's in bad shape." The woman called over her shoulder, "Patch, bring the Razum repair kit." A robot marched into the room carrying a large case. He looked similar to a Razum robot, but he was shorter and wider. The word Patch was lightly etched on his torso. Mr. Sharif led Nadine and Patch out to the truck where the children were chatting with their robotic friend. Patch quickly scanned Roz's broken body and announced the cost of the repairs. The man stroked his chin, mulling over his options, until the children blurted out, "Just fix her." Mr. Sharif nodded and Patch sprang into action. With smooth, precise movements, the robot gently placed Roz on the ground. Then he grasped her broken arm and her broken leg and twisted. There was a thwip sound as each limb popped loose. Then he took new limbs from the case and thwip popped them into place. In a matter of seconds, Roz was whole and back on her feet. "Robots never cease to amaze me," said Mr. Sharif, admiring Roz's shiny new limbs. "The makers really outdid themselves with these Razum units," said Nadine. "However, you have our most basic unit. Would you like us to upgrade her software or adjust her settings or polish out these scratches? Will that cost extra?" Nadine smiled. "I'm afraid so." "This basic unit is fine," said Mr. Sharif, "but I need to order a work crew. Could you send one over to fix up my farm?" "Not a problem," said Nadine. "I'll send a crew over immediately." Chapter 29, The Aftermath. Hilltop Farm was hardly recognizable. Buildings were flattened, equipment was missing, debris was everywhere. The farm had no electricity, and the computer system was down. As Roz picked her way through the rubble, she realized she was off the grid. It would be hours before Mr. Sharif could track her electronic signal again. Was this the moment for her escape? No, Roz couldn't leave the Sharifs, not like this. Instead, she did what she could to help. The tornado had left behind a winding trail of destruction. Thankfully, it hadn't destroyed everything. The barn was leaning to one side, but it was still standing. Roz forced open the door and found the cows nervously bunched together in a corner. "You are all safe now," said Roz in her calmest voice. "How is everyone feeling?" The robot was answered by a chorus of moos. "How do you think we feel? I'm a nervous wreck. My whole life flashed before my eyes." The robot raised her hands to quiet the crowd. "I am afraid the tornado destroyed much of the farm, including the milking parlor." The cows gasped. "But my udders are about to burst," cried Tess. "Would you like me to milk you the old-fashioned way?" said Roz. One look at the robot's clampy mechanical hands and Tess shook her head. "No thanks," she said. "I can wait." "An emergency crew is on its way," Roz explained, "but we cannot be in here while they work. Please follow me." Roz carefully led the herd outside, through the wreckage, and down to the pasture. Some of the fences were missing, and the herding machine was broken, but the cows promised not to wander off, and they began grazing on the wind-blown grass. 3 massive trucks rumbled up the driveway. Doors swung open, and a crew of robot workers climbed out. The lead robot checked in with Roz as the others began unloading supplies from the trucks. Then the crew got down to business. Power tools buzzed, debris was cleared, fences were mended, holes were dug, machines were repaired or replaced, beams and walls and roofs went up, equipment and pipes and wires were installed. Clearly, these robots were designed to work as a team. The Sharifs wandered out back and stood with Roz. They watched as their farm was rebuilt before their very eyes. Several crew members marched over to the house, fixed a hole in the roof, and replaced the shattered windows. Finally, rubble and tools were loaded into the trucks, and the robots fell in line. "Are you satisfied with our work?" said the crew leader. "I am satisfied," said Roz. At those words, the robots climbed back into their trucks and drove away. Hours after it had been devastated by a tornado, Hilltop Farm was better than ever. Chapter 30, The Gift. The children walked into the machine shed, past rows of parked farm machines, and found Roz tuning up the milk truck. "We got you a gift," said Jad, smiling. The robot felt something like surprise when the boy handed her a box wrapped in silver paper with a big red bow on top. "Can you guess what it is?" said Jaya. Roz started guessing. A bucket, a rock, a hammer, a turtle, a can of... Okay, you can stop guessing," said Jaya. "Don't forget to read the card," said Jad. Nestled under the bow was a little card. Roz opened it and read the following words. They were written in Jad's messy handwriting. "Dear Roz, thank you for taking such good care of our farm and our family. We spent all our savings on this gift, so you'd better like it. Love, Jaya and Jad. P.S. Please tell us more stories about the robot on the island as soon as possible." "Thank you for that nice card," said Roz, although the handwriting could use some improvement. Jad rolled his eyes and said, "Open your gift." The robot untied the bow and tore off the paper and lifted the lid from the box. Inside was a tool belt. It was made of dark leather and had a wide strap and different-sized pockets for holding different kinds of tools. "We thought this might make your work a little easier," said Jaya. "It's designed specifically for Rozum robots," said Jad, "so it should fit perfectly." The children helped Roz put on her new tool belt. Rather than going around the robot's waist, like a normal belt, it went diagonally around her torso. Jad looped it over Roz's left shoulder and down around her right hip. Jaya laced the strap through the buckle and tightened it until the tool belt was snug and secure across her chest. "Do you like it?" said Jaya. "I like it very much," said Roz. "Thank you for this lovely gift." The children smiled and hugged the robot. They really seemed to care about her. Roz wondered if they cared enough to help her escape from the farm. One of these days, she would have to risk everything and tell them the truth. For now, however, she did the next best thing. She led Jaya and Jad out to the oak tree and told them another story about the robot on the island. Chapter 31, The Campfire. Wood smoke billowed up from the backyard and drifted across the farm. Roz was building a campfire for the Sharifs. Have any of you built a campfire in your backyard while you've been at home? In her old life, the robot made fire by cracking special stones together until she got a spark. In her new life, she used a lighter. The family sat around the rippling flames and gazed up at the stars. The dog stretched out on the warm ground. The robot was standing nearby, but her thoughts were far away. Her computer brain was scrolling back through memories of campfires and of stargazing with Bright Bill. Fluffy white marshmallows were skewered onto the ends of sticks and then roasted above the flames. Mrs. Williams loves s'mores. The children laughed as their marshmallows caught fire. That's how I like mine. They liked them charred on the outside and gooey on the inside. Their father preferred his evenly browned. When the Sharifs weren't stuffing their mouths, they were chattering happily. "That's the space station," said Jaya, pointing to a tiny dot that was slowly moving through the sky. "I can't believe people live there." "Animals live there too," said Jad. "The station has a farm. We should bring our cows up and show those space farmers how it's done." "I think our cows are perfectly content right here on Earth," said Mr. Sharif, "and so am I." Once the marshmallows were gone, Jaya and Jad snuggled up with Oscar, stared into the flames, and asked their father about the old days. But the children were just too cozy to stay awake for long, so Mr. Sharif spoke to Roz instead. "We made campfires all the time when I was a boy." The man poked the coals with his marshmallow stick, and glowing embers floated into the air. "The whole family would sit around like this, telling stories. We had a nice life here, but then my brother and sister moved to the city. My parents got old, and everyone expected me to take over the farm. I couldn't run this place by myself," he went on, "so I hired Jamila. I did the farm work, and she managed the business. We made a good team, and then we fell in love. When Jamila was pregnant with Jad, we bought a few autumn machines to help out. Then Jaya showed up, and we bought a few more. If I'd known one of those machines would be the death of her," the farmer's voice trailed off. Roz wanted to know more about Jamila, and about Mr. Sharif, and about the rest of his family. But a normal robot wouldn't ask personal questions, so she kept her questions to herself and dropped another log on the fire. And that's where we're going to stop today, boys and girls. So the wild robot escapes, is going to bed until tomorrow. Let's see. Today is April the 9th. Tomorrow is Friday. Okay. "Be noble, and the nobleness that lies in other men, sleeping but never dead, will rise in majesty to meet thine own." Being a noble person is very important. Also having integrity, doing the right thing when no one's looking. That's also very important. Okay, so we have a joke today, and this joke is coming from Layla. And she asked her Alexa to tell her a joke, and this is what we have. "Why did summer break up with winter?" Think about that one. Why did summer break up with winter? Because they had a falling out. Because they had a falling out. That's a cute one. Also, we had Ethan was the first and only person who sent me a message saying that I think it's a cicada, is a bug. So good job, Ethan. Way to look that up and let me know. Okay, well, one more note. It's going to be on the slide as well. I did say we were going to do a Zoom meeting on Friday, but Mrs. Williams is going to postpone that until my camera comes in for my computer. Right now, I can only do Zoom on my phone or my iPad, and I won't be able to see everybody on one screen, so my camera has not arrived yet from Amazon. As soon as it arrives, I will reschedule the snack time with Mrs. Williams. Until then, we'll just keep doing our read-alouds. Make sure you email me and give me an update on how you're doing and what you're liking about the story. All right, boys and girls, keep working hard. Keep your spirits up. Love you.